My Father, the Silent Hero, is a touching story about a poor father in the countryside who spent his whole life working hard, sacrificing everything to raise his son to become a good person. The son, now grown up, recalls his childhood, with many images of his hard-working, simple but resilient father. From the early mornings going to the fields, his feet calloused by the rain and sun, to each simple meal filled with love. My father was not a person who often spoke of love, but all his actions were a boundless, silent but great love. I returned to my village after many years of exile, sitting in the small old house with the sound of the wind rustling through the bamboo trees outside the alley. Suddenly my heart was pounding. The images of the past kept coming back, as clear as if it had happened yesterday. I remember very clearly the image of my father, a quiet man in a faded brown shirt, always getting up early in the morning to go to the fields. I never saw him complain, whether the monsoon was freezing cold or the summer sun was scorching hot. He just worked hard. His thin shoulders seemed to carry the whole sky. My childhood was associated with simple meals. Some days there was only white rice with fish sauce, a plate of boiled vegetables and a dried fish. But my father always gave me the best piece. He picked up the fish and put it in my bowl, smiling. "Eat, son, I'm not hungry." I used to believe it. But when I grew up, I understood. Hunger was something my father was used to. One night I saw him quietly go to the kitchen, drinking water instead of rice. One day, my mother, who was still alive at the time, secretly told me, "Your father has been hungry for several days, saving money to buy you books." My father's shirt was torn at the shoulders, patched all over. His sandals were worn out, but I never heard him complain or whine. My father's love was not in his words alone, but in every poor meal filled with sacrifice. The year I took the university entrance exam, it rained non-stop. The day I went to the city, my father saw me off at the bus station early. He slipped me a carefully wrapped bag of country eggs. "Bring them up to eat, to ease your hunger." I looked at my father's muddy sandals and his wet clothes, and my heart sank. He couldn't get into the dormitory, so he just stood outside the school gate waiting for me in the rain for 3 hours. When the time was up, I walked out and saw my father standing hunched over, covering the bag of eggs from getting wet. He smiled softly. "Did you do well on the exam? Go home and rest, you have another exam tomorrow." At that time I just nodded, but that night I cried. I cried because I missed my father, and because for the first time I understood what wordless love was. The day I received my diploma, my father took the bus to the city. He was still wearing the same faded brown shirt, but it had been ironed by my mother in the countryside. On the bus, he kept holding the graduation invitation, looking at it, over and over again. After the ceremony, I saw that my father did not come in to take a photo with us. After searching for a long time, I found him sitting alone by the pond bridge behind the boarding house, holding the diploma in his hand, looking into the distance. On his tanned cheek I saw a tear glistening. "I'm so happy. It was not in vain the years of fasting, selling buffalo and cows to send you to school," he said softly. I sat down next to him, said nothing, just put my hand on his shoulder. My hand trembled slightly, because it was the first time I saw my father, the seemingly indomitable man, cry with happiness. Old age came to my father like a slow wind. First his hands trembled when holding chopsticks, then he walked more slowly, his knees ached every rainy afternoon, but he still refused to sit still. "I can still do it. Don't worry about me." That sentence was repeated over and over like a habit. Whether it was just picking up straw, watering vegetables, or lighting a fire to boil tea, he did it carefully and proudly. I was able to take care of him. But he still kept the smallest things for himself, as a way to preserve the dignity of a man who had shouldered the burden of his life. Every time I looked at my father from afar, saw him sitting on the porch with a cup of hot tea, his white hair tangled by the wind, my heart ached. The day my father was hospitalized, it was a hot August day. He lay on the hospital bed, thin as a shadow of his former self. One afternoon, he called me over and took a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. "I wrote it a long time ago, but I didn't dare give it to you. Read it, my child." I opened it. It was a letter. He had written it when I was a freshman in college. In it, he talked about missing you about sleepless nights, and about his quiet pride when he heard that I had gotten good grades. At the end of the letter, he wrote, "I just hope you live a decent life, and never forget who you are." I held his hands, the hands that had protected me from the rain and wind all my life. For the first time, I bowed my head to my father's chest and cried like a child. Dad passed away on an autumn morning. That day there was no sun, no rain. There was only a gentle wind blowing through the bamboo trees in front of the alley. The small house was silent, as if holding the breath of the man who had quietly left. He lay there, peacefully, as if sleeping. The last faded brown shirt that my mother had kept was ironed. Simple green pants and flip-flops were neatly placed at the foot of the bed. The whole village came to see him off. No one cried loudly, only nods, red eyes. Everyone said, "He was a gentle, kind man. He worked tirelessly all his life." I stood silently by the coffin, holding an old photo, my father when he was young, standing next to a water jar, smiling gently. The hero of my life. No need for glory, no need for applause, just a lifetime of love in silence. Today I stand again in front of the old water jar, where my father used to wash his face every morning before going to the field. Autumn is still as quiet as the day my father left, but in my heart everything has never been quiet. I suddenly wish that one day, just one day, I could see my father's back walking across the yard, hear the sound of his old sandals clacking on the brick floor, and softly call out, "Dad, what did you eat today?" But time does not return. Only memories remain forever. Dad, a man of few words, who lived his whole life in silence, has never been absent from my heart. I carry him with me. In every meal, every step, and even in my dreams on stormy nights. People say, a hero is someone who changes the world. To me, my father is the one who changed my whole life, with the silence of a father.